Hey guys, and welcome to Littleblackbook 91. I am here sitting down with my meat from Ready to Love. Listen, listen, we've been waiting for you, okay? All right, we've been waiting for you, okay? But first and foremost, I want to say this: you are looking stunning today
Thank you.
and
Thank
every day.
you. Appreciate it.
No
Thank you.
worries. How you been anyway?
I've been great. Feeling good.
I like that response. Feeling good. We just need to know as well, where are the hair from? Because the hair is looking on point.
The bundles are from a company called Bougie and Co. And my stylist name is Autumn.
Autumn. Okay,
Mhm.
ladies, listen. You know what to do. You know what I'm saying. I know a lot of you ladies are here. Listen, the hair's looking. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll make sure I post it or put it in the comment section. I'm
No
familiar
worries,
with your
George.
comment section.
Okay. But let me focus. But let me refocus. Okay, so we like to do a thing called human verification on
Okay.
here to make sure you are actually human, because it would be a shame if you were a robot.
I know.
Um, it would be, wouldn't you? Know what I'm saying it would be a shame. You know what I'm saying,
Android. No.
but are you an iPhone or Android user?
Oh, I'm an iPhone user, but I was using like tech terms
You
like.
was doing so well. I had you up on the high on the list, and then you told me you're Android. You told me your iPhone.
Wait, so you're a droider?
I'm a droider, baby.
Okay, but I've lived both lives.
But you're
So,
not there now.
right, but what I'm saying is I understand the other side.
But
That
you're
was
not there
actually
now.
my story for the whole day.
That was your stay right. Stay right, stay right, stay right, stay right.
He went.
He went left. But the song was hard though. I'm not gonna lie to you. We wanna let me
Want to
focus. Let me
hear?
focus. Let me
Okay,
stay
okay,
right.
okay.
Let me
Let's
stay
both.
right.
Okay,
Sorry.
I want you to
Sorry,
stay
my
right.
bad. Let me stay
Okay,
right. I'm sorry. I'm
okay.
sorry. Let me stay right. Let me. What's up? Okay, so
Me too.
human verification. Just I'm gonna ask some really simple questions.
Okay,
Favorite color? I'm gonna ask you.
purple.
Ooh, purple.
Yes,
Why purple? Interesting.
I've always loved it since I was a child, and it represents royalty.
It
It's
does.
connected to all type of gaudy
Mm.
things. I love all of that.
Oh, my favorite color is blue. So, and I like purple second.
Okay,
So,
yeah, and
okay.
they're cool. Both of those are cool colors.
Okay, purple. Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite
Yep.
number?
Ooh, three.
Three. Ooh, okay. Three's a magic number.
Yeah, the Trinity, but not just that. It just makes sense. I don't know. There's one, and then bam, I need the evens on each side. Three. It's a
Okay.
beautiful number.
I'm with you on that. Okay. Cereal or milking first?
Oh, cereal first, then milk. People do it the other way. Wow.
I mean,
Oh, am I looking at somebody who does it the other way? God bless you. You
this
know,
water's sweet. Oh.
that a UK thing.
I mean, it might just be a me thing.
Okay, okay,
It might just
okay,
be a me thing. Yeah, I
okay,
think I'm odd like that.
okay. It's
Yeah,
okay.
is that alright?
You're creative. You're creative. Sometimes we do things and are into things.
I love how you've given me the gesticulation, basically saying it's a bit,
He's a
you,
bit.
it's a bit. It's okay. I
I've
accept
seen
it.
you dance. I know what's up.
Oh, you see
It's
me?
the
You see me? That?
art.
Listen.
Yeah,
Listen. Did you see the latest one I posted up today though?
I did not.
You ain't seen it. Listen, I'm
No.
mesmerizing with the hips. Listen, you need to watch that one. Be careful though. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Because we both saints out here. You don't want
I'm
to
gonna cause
fall.
somebody to stumble. You don't
You
want to
don't want to
cause.
stumble. You know what scripture says now. You know what I'm saying? Don't cause your brother or sister to stumble. So you gotta be
That's
careful.
right. That's right.
Uh-huh.
Well, you gave me a warning,
I
so
go.
I'll
Stay
pray
right.
over my eyes. You know what I mean? Father, let me not be tempted. Let's do it.
Indeed. All right, cool. So I
Oh, I'm
think we
human.
can
Great.
conclude. You are a human being. We
Oh,
knew
yeah.
that. We knew that. So, I like to always ask my people that come on the show. I want to ask you the question. I mean, who are you, and what is your story?
All right. Well, my name is Mumen Ginge. I am a Washington, D.C. native. My mom is from Goldsboro, North Carolina. My father is from Cameroon. West Africa. I am 36 years old. I am a singer songwriter, a wardrobe stylist, a children's book author, and I have a nonprofit for teen girls. I also work in children's ministry at my church. So I do a lot of different things. Love to
Yeah.
have fun. Yeah.
Mm,
So a large part of my life has been touring, all
mm.
around the world, different artists and studios, concerts, and so forth and so on. So I love to have fun. I'm an animal lover. I also believe that I'm an animal whisperer.
I mean, what animal are we talking about here?
Well, I love them all. I stay away from reptiles though. I just can't do those.
Mm.
You be over there, I'll be over here. But I love animals. Monkeys mostly. I want a chimpanzee one day.
You want a chimpanzee one day?
Yeah, on tour with me. Michael did it. Justin Bieber did it. Nobody looked at them crazy like the way you just judged me. Yes, I want a chimpanzee.
I'm looking at you the same way you looked at me when you said iPhone and Android. So, okay, hey, no, hey, listen, I'm gonna allow you. Okay, the monkey. Okay, chimpanzee. Okay, I hear you. I'm not gonna, I'm
Okay.
not gonna, I'm not gonna judge you on that. Chimpanzee's
Okay.
fine. Okay,
Okay.
chimpanzee. All right, cool. So animal lover. Okay, so I guess there's a lot of things that you do. So
Yeah.
let me start first and foremost with the creativity aspect of your life. Okay, you're a
Yeah.
singer. Talk
Mm-hmm.
to us a little bit more about, because there's a lot of singers, but you actually,
Right.
you professional out here, so
Right.
it's very rare we
Right.
get that. Talk to us a
Oh,
little bit about that lifestyle and your
okay.
career.
Okay, tell you how it started. I went to well, before I even went to undergrad, I've always loved to sing. So I
Mm.
was one of those children who was singing in children's choirs growing up in church, and just always singing. I eventually in undergrad went to Hampton University and majored in
Okay.
vocal performance.
Wow.
So I have a degree in that. I'm classically trained, and
Come
then I
on.
went to New York to a conservatory called the American Musical Dramatic Academy of the Arts. Just the longest name ever. AMDA. They have a oh, I can't hear you anymore.
Can you not hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah,
Oh.
I got you now. They have a New York campus and an LA campus. I was at the New York campus, went there for a year, then decided I wanted to go start my whole life. I dropped out and then I started a girl group. We did a lot of cool things. We worked with the late George Duke. We've done presentations and concerts for, like the Supremes and tributes and, all type of things like that with Berry Gordy. From there, I started going on the road with a lot of major gospel artists that I know you guys know. And then, like I said, I've been in studio sessions, done tours and stuff with all type of people. I've worked with Stevie Wonder. I've worked with Kanye West. I've worked with Tasha Cobbs. I did styling for her before. Who else have I worked with? Little Mo, Coco from SWV,
Come on.
Byron Cage. I don't know if there's some gospel people, in here. James Fortune. I've been blessed and had the opportunity to work with a lot of the greats.
Mm, you are well accomplished, and we like to hear that. No, that's
Yeah.
honestly that is brilliant. And I think that needs to be celebrated first and foremost. Because
Thank you.
you're doing big things. We're doing
Thank
big
you.
things.
And I'm mostly excited about this chapter because I've worked and served so many people for so many years. And so I'm moving into
Mm,
a space now where I'm going to finally do my own solo project. I put out
okay.
singles over the last few years. Then I also started this whole Disney meets worship thing that went viral several
Sick.
times for the last few years, where I was doing Disney covers and adding some cool arrangements and then adding like gospel songs at the end or like Christian tunes at the end and just really ministering to people and sharing through those stories. So it's been really cool.
Hey, I didn't even know about this part. I need to tap
Oh
in.
yeah. Oh yeah. I'll send you some stuff.
What? What
Hmm.
inspired? What inspired you then to kind of mix the Disney with the, adding your own little twist and gospel? What was
Yeah.
the kind of inspiration behind that?
Well, I'm just a mixture. Literally, my bloodline is mixed. I just always grew up being exposed to a lot of different things. Even how I dress, I love patterns. I love mixing stuff and colors and textures and all types of stuff. I've always been drawn to Disney and animation and that whole
Mm,
world, always since I was a child. And then from there, I just naturally sounded like them. Even though I was raised in the church and was around a lot of gospel artists, I could not sound like that. It would hurt my throat if I would try to do all that growling and I love it,
I hear you.
but
I
it
hear you.
just wasn't, it just wasn't me. I had more of a commercial sound. So when I really started to discover that and tap into that unapologetically, that's really when that chapter started for me really standing in who I am, what I sound like, and what I'm purposed to do. I really feel like I'm here to bridge gaps, with the world and with kingdom, to let people know you can be a believer and you can be cool, you can be fly, you can have fun. You're a believer, you wear sneakers, you're a cool person. You
Come
don't
on.
have to be a weirdo or stiff or whatever
Church
the
boy.
case. So,
I said it for you. You have to be a church boy or church girl. I know what you're talking about.
but you still have balance, you know what I mean, and have fun. And we're all called to different things. I'm telling you, I know that's what I'm called to. And it was just, I wanted to mix those worlds and expose people, our community. That only like, why a Disney song? Like, what in the world? And it's like, yeah, it could really be cool. I'm gonna add some trap on it. I'm gonna add some jazz. I'm gonna add some gospel. So, yeah.
I love that. Did you find that there was a? Did you find any pushback then to you? Going into that, because I know we're both Christians here. We know what it's like. You decide to venture out of the four walls of church and do something slightly different to what they're used to. Suddenly, there's backlash, pushback, and everything like that.
Right.
Just talk to us a little bit about how you managed to overcome, if there was any, that pushback and managed to persevere forward.
Okay. Well, the great thing is, I got a lot of support, especially from the church and my community. So I didn't deal with a lot of pushback from them. The truth is, sometimes I dealt with pushback from like the world, the people who kind of were familiar with the church, kind of knew what I did, but they didn't have a full understanding, and so they kind of felt like, what is she doing? Or what does this really represent? Or just trying to tell me what can be associated to some of these bigger animated companies that I told you about. And I'm like, got you. Well, you can experience things everywhere, in every group, anywhere in the world, every organization, and so it's about you being purposed to do what you're doing. And with that, I believe you'll be protected. You know what I mean? Like, things will be exposed to you, so you'll know how to move. So I dealt with like a little bit, but not really. And then just beyond that, some people just not understanding. Like, what is happening? It's amazing. She sounds good, but what's happening? And so those people, I just wait and just let it come full circle, because eventually they're all like, oh my God, now I get it. You're called to young people. You're called to make us all feel like bubbly inside, whatever you want to call it. That's what purpose to do. And it just may look a little different than somebody else. And I always say the checks are going to look different too, because they be over, it's just so.
Tell them again, baby.
Residuals.
We know. We're the royalties, baby.
Come on.
The royalties, okay, baby. Keep it coming on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Every time the commercial plays, that's me.
Come on now. I'm with you. I'm
just saying, there's provision when you follow and do what God has called you to do. That's all I'm saying. And like I said, it may be different for everybody. So that's mine.
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. You've not lied at all in that. And God does provide. You know what I mean? That's the reason why it's called provision. You know what I mean? He provides for the vision.
All right.
So
all right. Actually, I ain't never heard nobody do that like that. That was good. Good. Okay.
The Lord give me wordsmith. Some of us are singing some of the wordsmiths. You know what I mean? I'm living in my truth. You know what I'm saying?
I can't speak for nobody else.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna do mine. So obviously you've come from the church. You've come from a church background, like myself as well. Talk to us a little bit about your faith journey then, because that's also in itself a journey and a battle in itself. Coming from just being in church to actually having a relationship with God. I know you've spoken about it previously as well. So talk to us a little bit about your journey in terms of coming to the faith and, finally having your relationship with Jesus Christ as well.
Right. So I was a church kid, meaning I've been in church since before I got to decide if I wanted to be in church. That's what my parents did. My mother, especially, definitely made sure that was instilled in me, the importance and the significance of being a part of a community like that. Church is not just the four walls. You know what I mean? It's us as believers. And so she definitely made sure that I understood that. So I've been serving in churches and being a part of different departments, ministries within the church all my life. I did my ministry, the liturgical dances, the usher, all of that. And so it's just always been a part of my life, if that makes sense. I don't remember Sundays where I wasn't in church, or Saturdays where we didn't have to do vacation Bible school and then help out with the this and the church balls and the functions and the pastor's anniversary. It's just always been a part of my life. But with that being said, there still is a season when you sit alone and you're like, okay, I believe in God. Do I really have a relationship, and what does that mean? Not my mama's relationship, not my uncle's relationship, not my godmother's relationship. What's my relationship like with God? Like, what is my understanding of Him? You know, like I can ask people to pray for me. I can cry out to the Lord, but what happens when I'm really, really alone? Can I hear? You know what I mean? Do I actually feel connected to Him, or is it everything else that's around me? You know what I'm saying? And so I think in those seasons of having to be alone is when my relationship with God was really able to, you know, develop. Like going away to school, like, you know, I did that at least for 5 or 6 years. I was away, you know what I mean, doing that, and at a younger age. And so I think in those moments is when those things started to kind of come in place. And definitely the dark seasons that, you know, we don't really want to talk about, but at times they are necessary. Sometimes they literally push us into our next chapters. You know, we come into those spaces fortified. Like, you know what I mean? If I could get through that, I can get through anything. And so I literally just went through a crazy, crazy season right before I got on Ready to Love. And that was another moment. That was another season where my relationship with God like went to a different level, because I was really able to sit with Him. I couldn't depend on anybody else. And, you know, I spent time.
I don't know. Is this a place that you could share part of that testimony? If it's not, that's fine.
Well, I can't go into the fullness of it, but I'll just say I got hit quite a bit emotionally, just dealing with high levels of betrayal from super duper close, you know, friends. My grandmother passed, who I'm named after. I was ghosted by a guy for 365 days. You know, that I had to deal with that emotional, you know, trauma. Some other stuff was like family. It was just one of those seasons where like everything felt like it was crashing. Like, oh my gosh, like can I get a break before this next hit, you know? And it's literally what launched me, like, word up. So
crazy. I do understand that, man. Yeah. And you're right. Some of those dark seasons really do present an opportunity for God to shed light in those moments. So, you know, I'm with you 100%. I love the fact you can share that as well. Because, you know, I think, like I said, you're one of the few people on the cast I've ever that I've had a conversation specifically about Christ and about relationship with Christ. You know what I mean? Okay, so it's good to have that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's good to have that. You know what I mean?
I'm a believer. Yeah, for sure.
So let me go back then. So we spoke a little bit about career, but let me go back.
Okay.
So Mumen, you know, you're stunning. You're 36 now, looking beautiful, accomplished. You know what I'm saying? Like you're ready to take on world domination. But who were you when you were a young girl? Like, what was your dreams and aspirations? Was it always to sing, or was there something else that you had in mind when you were young?
Well, the funny thing is, when I was younger, fashion was the first love. It was not, you know, music. Actually, music was very close, but I love fashion. Like I used to just sit and watch documentaries all day, learn designer names, watch Top Model, and quiz myself and say, you about to go home this week if you mess up. Like, you know, just really, really be into it and try to really engulf myself in that entire world. I love it. It's another art form. It's beautiful to me. Like I said, I'm passionate about it. So I would say fashion. I thought I was going to go to like FIT, you know, that was like the spot to be, and that I would be designing gowns all over the world. And I still believe that season is, you know, going to come, but it's been very connected to my music career. Mostly every artist, especially gospel that I worked with, I also styled their entire group as well. And so fashion has always been entwined, connected.
Okay. So obviously fashion has been part of your life, it's part of your heart as a young individual. Okay. So I mean, for you, obviously as a young girl, then, you know, talk a little bit about, describe your kind of experiences as a young girl then. So aside of fashion, like what was life like for you as a young individual? I know church was a big part, but what else was part of your scenery? What were you seeing? What were you experiencing at that young age?
Wow, no one has ever asked me that. I'll say this: how you get the people. So you make us dig and dig and dig, and then you be like, "You're naked. Let's go in." Not literally, guys. Not literally. This is what I'll say about that. I feel like I was very self-aware, even as a little girl.
Yeah.
And I was very aware of the emotions around me, the people around me, like the needs of others, like aggressively. I could always like feel it or know. I always wanted to help, always wanted to be there for every single body. But it's like I don't have very many moments as a child where I felt like I was literally just being a child. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that definitely speaks to a bunch of other things, which is why we go to therapy. But I'm saying like that, you know, I remember that. If I can't tell you anything else, I remember that. It was definitely full of family, like I said, I've said on camera that my family is not super duper close, but there were
Mm,
seasons of that. Um, but my West African side, my father's side, they're very, 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 very close. And so we were always having like parties and stuff. You know, West Africans party down.
mm,
Okay, no, no games. And so we were always having parties, and there was festivals and events and all types of stuff. So I love that. I love seeing my aunts and uncles graduate and get all type of degrees and continue to get degrees and degrees and degrees. We were always, throwing parties to celebrate. And so I remember a lot of that as well. And great food.
mm,
Oh, great food.
mm. Are you an only child, or do you have any other siblings?
So I had two older sisters.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What
Yeah.
was it like with what's the relationship like with your two older sisters then?
Well, so we're very, very different, but we love
Okay.
each other. But we're talking about a 10-year gap with the
Oh
middle
well.
one. And then the next one, like a 15-year gap. So I was definitely the baby, baby,
Mm,
baby. So we're close. We've gotten closer as we've gotten older. But there was just a lot that happened in my household when we were growing up. That's what I'll say. Yeah. And with
mm,
blended families, just period, there can be challenges. We tried to get through it the best that we could. But with that age gap, which is just a thing, period, and then just processing through some other things, sometimes it was a lot.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
When you say there was a lot, I'm not going to ask you to go too deep, but when you say there was a lot that was going on, has this been going on since as long as you can remember?
Yes.
Makes sense.
I already know what you're doing, and I'm not going to address it. We'll talk off camera, but I know what you just did. I know what you just did, but we'll talk about it off camera. And if you did what I think you did, it's a dope. It's dope what you did, and it makes a lot of sense. And it's something that I just recently came into an understanding of. But I know what you just did, so no problem. But
Mm.
don't make me. Don't make me.
I
You're
won't.
not going any further. Okay.
I won't
Okay.
make you go any further. No, I just
Okay.
wanted to. I just wanted to see because you said you are perceptive of people's emotions and stuff, right?
Yes.
And the only way that I learned this from Will Smith actually
Okay. Okay.
some months back, and I thought I was because I also feel like I sense a lot of people's emotions. Like so, as soon as
Yeah.
if before they even say anything, I can feel it.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
But I when Will Smith explained it about he also has the same thing, I realized where it came from, and it's because the way you deal with emotions. And in order to protect yourself, your body does something. It becomes super perceptive so that
Mm.
when things are happening around you, you get out of there early or you dodge early or you say something
Mm.
to appease or something like that.
Mhm,
So that's why I
mhm,
asked, is it from
mhm.
the very beginning so that I
Oh,
now
yeah, yeah,
understand where you're
yeah.
coming from? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Mm.
Mhm. But
This
I
is the word.
definitely believe, all things work together. And I mentioned the blended family thing because that's a real subject matter.
Mm.
And for those that venture to make that happen, it's just they need a lot of support. It can be a whole lot, but it's such a beautiful thing when it happens. You know what I mean? It happens, the right way. And so,
So you and Walter had some really deep conversations about your relationship with your father. I don't know how much you can talk
yeah,
about that, but you did speak to a little bit on the show about your relationship with your father.
right.
And you've kind of said obviously I think it's got better since.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know how much you can share about that, but I mean, what was the relationship like as a young individual with your parents? What was the relationship like without obviously exposing too much?
Right, right. Well, my parents are amazing. Really, really blessed to have such balanced parents. My father is super rah, 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 macho, ain't playing no games, West
Come on.
African. We couldn't even look him in his eye. That was considered disrespectful. Whoa. So there was a lot of that going on there. My mom is just like a Mother Teresa to the world and just is this caretaker and this, sweet, wholesome Southern woman. And so then you have those two and you got me, with this mix. So growing up in the house, I had super hardworking parents. They took education and working hard, very very seriously. Definitely instilled that to me and my sisters. The father piece, I've talked about it quite a bit. I just think sometimes there is an emotional disconnect
Mm,
with foreign, parents and
yeah.
their, for my case, Americanized children.
Yeah.
And so my mother is American, but like I said, my father's West African. But I just don't think there were a lot of examples, for him as it pertains to how to show emotions
Yeah.
towards, your children, especially daughters. And
Mm.
I'm super passionate about this subject matter because I know the difference it can make.
Yeah.
And beyond that, there's places you can get help. There's conversations you can have, because it definitely has impact. I'm a living witness of it having impact. And I think we all as adults have to challenge ourselves to work through any form of childhood trauma.
Mm.
We hear the word trauma and people get really freaked out. I'm glad we're starting to use it more, but it doesn't always have to be like this.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like this.
Mm.
But if it happened, it happened. And it may begin to come out in other areas of your life as an adult. And so we've worked through things. We're continuing to work through things, my father and I've taught him things like, you can say I love you when you get off the phone.
Mm.
You can say you're proud of me. I don't want to have to always hear it third party while
When you
you're on the
heard that for the
phone.
first time, what was that like?
Oh my gosh. Well, I heard it third party on the phone with him talking to somebody else. And I was just like, wow, like, dope. It's special to hear. Again, especially as it pertains to daughters and their fathers. And I really respect my father too. I think that's what it is. Like, he's not like a lame. He has
Mm.
worked really, really hard when he came over into the States to be and build what he's built. He's a family man. He cares about family, like the way he helps take care of my family that's in the village back home in Cameroon. And just because of him and my uncle, there's running water and there's electricity and just dope things. He's building a school. So he's done, a lot of great things. And like I said, the family oriented piece is what I really, really love as well. And so we're working through growing up. I mean, he was also gone for 15 years out of my life. He was in this out of the country. He took a job somewhere, and those were pretty significant years. It
Mm.
was like a early teenager into, what I mean, early 20s. So
Mm. You know what? It's interesting because I totally feel what you're saying. Obviously, I'm West African, I'm Ghanaian, so, and obviously, some of our parents, those who have come over to another country, some of them, their mindset is different to those of us who grew up in that actual country, right? Because
sure.
a lot of our parents are trying to survive, and when you're in survival mode, there are things that are not as essential as other things. One being
So good.
emotional care, because
Yes.
it's not essential. We need to survive, and then, we
Right.
can think about emotional stuff maybe a little bit later. The trouble is that once the later comes, it's almost too late because you've been set in your
Mm,
ways as a
mm.
parent, which I totally understand. But as a child, you then lose out, and then you
Yeah,
also get set because
very
you've
true.
missed out on that emotional connection.
Very true.
So that is very, very tough, and I think that's what you're kind of describing in that sense.
Yeah. It's
How
okay.
does that affect your dating life, or how did that affect your dating life?
Okay. How did that affect my dating life? So this is the thing. This is my first chapter of really, 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 really dating within
Okay.
ING. I was
Mm.
in a super long relationship, a 10-year relationship with a guy that's like 5 or 6 years older than me since I was 16 years old. And then from there, I was like on the road. I had, little relationship ish things here and there, but not really. And so this is the first chapter where I was really like, okay, I feel like I know what I want. I feel like I know how I want to move with a man. I know what my future needs to look like and what he needs to have going on. And so, all right, let's see what this thing is really about. I was always kind of like, I don't know about the whole dating thing. I don't want to talk to that many guys. I don't have to remember that much stuff. I say all
Mm.
type of things. I just didn't know how to do it and that it could be fun and that you learn so much about yourself and all of that. I didn't know.
Mm.
You know, I'm
Mm.
listening. I'm just changing my lighting. Go ahead.
No worries, you change the lighting. I've got a question. So,
Yeah.
because you mentioned obviously being in a relationship at 16,
Yeah. Yeah.
what was that? What was that like? A 10-year relationship, right?
Yes.
That's a long time to be in a relationship.
Yes, it is.
Run us through a little bit, like, I don't know if you can share a bit more in terms of that relationship. In terms, you don't have to give us the ins and outs. We don't need to know everything in and out. But we're talking about
Okay.
just what you experienced. You know what I mean?
Right.
In those 10 years, what you experienced. Why didn't it work out in the end? But that's two questions. Let me just say the first one. What did you experience in that relationship?
Okay.
And the lighting looks good,
Um,
by the way.
Thank you. I'm gonna do one more too. There were a lot of things I experienced.
Mm.
Um, but I will say this. I probably just do not want my 16-year-old daughter dating a guy 5 or 6 years older than her with a child already. Just so young. I basically grew up in that relationship.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
again, during some very crucial, you know what I
Moments.
mean? Yes, in a young girl's life. And because he was so much older than me, and because there were some other, things going on, I took that on. You remember I started off by saying how aware I am and feeling emotions and everything else. I just think that was too much for that age. You know what I mean? So just to clear that, it was more so that I would say, like, I think I was too young to be with a guy that age. Just period. And definitely for that amount of time. Definitely did not come out with no ring.
Did you what was his? Okay, so I'm gonna ask the most obvious question.
Okay.
Which is, okay, so was he in, because you said it was that period of time was a very important period of time for yourself. Your dad was taking a job elsewhere, I'm guessing at the same time as well, right?
Yeah.
So daughter, this is a very key point for daughters as well. This is a key point. I know, he's there but he's not there, so it's like a key time for you, right?
Yeah,
it's the physical presence which is important. So do you feel like part of that absence then drew you more towards this gentleman? Did he have qualities, I want to say, that mirrored maybe the safety, the physical kind of emotional kind of covering?
For sure. Yes, I agree. I can't go too much into that, but yes, you're really good at putting things together. But yes, and I think that's why I was able to so freely talk about the whole daddy's issue thing, which then the bloggers literally ate alive, as I clearly said that this is something that I worked through so that the little girl's not leading. And I still got tagged as Mumen with her zaddy issues and everything else. But I spoke to it because it is a real thing.
Yeah.
And as women, you need to kind of figure out, is something going on like that with you? Why you are attracting what you're attracting? Why is it not working? Why is it not sticking? And, have those introspective moments.
I'm hearing you. Okay. So obviously that was a 10-year relationship. Why did it end? What was the core issue?
It had ran dry.
Yeah, run dry.
Yeah. Boys and Men has a song about it. It was just it was just time.
It was time.
It was
Why was it time, baby? For you, why was it time? For you, why was it time?
Okay, well, I had started to see the world.
Okay.
I was super sheltered, and by then I was starting to tour and just have different conversations and read a few books and kind of be like, wait a second, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if this is everything that I need it to be. So, yeah.
Okay. Wait, when did you get born again?
Oh, that's childhood. Now, when did I go up to the altar again? Because I really, 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 really understood. Probably like 10, 11.
Okay, 10, 11. Okay, so was he a believer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so what's those aspects of a Christian I mean, listen, we've all been here and sinned, so listen, I'm not about to judge nobody. I'm not judging anybody here, okay?
Woo!
My
For sure.
My past and some of my present is a little bit mad.
I got you. Don't we all have stories? Certain chapters we don't want read out loud. That's what
That's right.
One
is one of them. So obviously, but yeah, okay, cool. So you grew out of that. You learned things. You started growing, and you started realizing this relationship isn't for you, right?
Yeah.
But to make that decision to leave it after 10 years takes energy.
Yes,
takes strength. Talk to us a little bit about that process then, in terms of getting your mind to that place where you had to leave that relationship.
That's a long time.
Okay.
10 years is a long time. And at that point, you're really, the root of foundation of that is you're friends with that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You literally care about that person as a person. Families by that point are connected in some type of way. You build relationships there. And so it was very, very difficult. I think it also matters when you're in these type of relationships. And like I said, those are some major transitional years. So we transitioned through a lot of things together. He was there when I graduated from high school, and went into college. He was there when I was graduating from college, so just that alone, those were moments where my entire life shifted, and we still, walked through that together. So it was difficult to finally just come to grips with the fact that you know, that relationship wasn't there anymore, and I was going to, figure out what was next. It was, but I got through it.
So obviously, once you exit that relationship, obviously you're killing it. You're going on your tours and everything like that as well. But now you're in the relationship wilderness. What's that like? Because obviously, after the 10-year tenure, you know, what's that
Right.
like? That period, the wind is different there. So talk to me about that period of time.
You're super focused. I was so focused and lost in like music and what I was doing, and so that kept me busy. I think really the holidays is when things were like, man, okay, like it's just you and you again, like, so that was, those moments definitely were like, wow, all right, I kind of wish I had a boo, but other than that, those were my major grind hustle years. I was lost in that, for real.
Okay. Okay. All right. Why are you laughing at me?
Because I see there's wheels. Now I'm really learning. I see the wheels.
The wheels are turning. But okay, so talk to us a little bit about you coming up to Ready to Love. What was dating like just before Ready to Love? Like, was the scene good for you? Was it a little bit, sketchy out there? Like, I'll be hearing this 10-1 out there in the DMV. You lot are suffering if that's the case.
Yeah. And then after that long wilderness season, I did start dating this guy, and it was a ghosting situation, a major one.
Why they keep ghosting you, baby?
I knew somebody was going to say that, and I was like, I hope they don't. And it turned out to be you. Oh my gosh. Well, I give you a reason. Dudes think they really want to be down and that they can step up to the plate. And when you have morals and standards.
Yeah. Is it the part where you say abstinence and then they really think you're not abstinent and then you actually are abstinent and then they quit?
I think that's a big part.
Okay.
I do. And then also to mental health. That's a real thing that we don't talk about in our community involving men. And it's real, which is why I'm so glad Insecure brought awareness to that. I talked about this on another interview. I had to figure out what was in me that kept attracting broken men because it kept happening. And so, again, once you're super duper present and you really show up to somebody, look them in their eyes and say, I'm ready to do this, and you're not really ready, that's like, okay, well, Did
you find out what the issue was?
I just told you, you drop that and, they can start packing.
So that was
Hey, bro, it's not going down.
Yeah, it's not going down.
Yeah, hey, bro, I told you that. You must have thought I was playing. I know Netflix is on, but no.
Damn. You know what? No, I shouldn't say damn that. But you know what? I speculated. I'm going ahead of time, but I speculated that was the Frank issue. I'm going to be honest with you. That's fine. You don't need to answer that. Thank you.
I can't. I would like.
Oh, you can answer it.
I would
okay, go for it. If you want to answer it.
I've heard that, and I'm not sure. Only because there were so many other things, literally, that weren't adding up. That was just wait. I don't know if you're ready for that. Are you ready for all of that?
Listen, I've been ready.
I didn't know you had bullet points. I didn't want to jump ahead and you.
No, but you could. I jumped ahead, so you can answer it in the way you want to answer it. Through.
So, Frank has discussed openly, so I'm not, telling his business. That he was battling with some mental health stuff.
Okay.
During the process, I don't know if it was going on before, but bam, there you go again. How are you going to show up completely, in any type of situation when you're battling that? Now, when I say that, that's not an excuse. Because you can have mental health situations going on and you still are communicating with people. Absolutely. Which could mean this is not a great season for me. I'm battling some mental health stuff. Now, we did eventually have a conversation where he did share that with me more than once, but the damage had already been done. One, you know what I mean? We don't need a number two. That's number one. So, but we did talk about it. That is something that he told me. But yeah, that, and then I need to say something else.
Go for it.
Because I'm not sure if you guys really realize this. And it's Kojo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm saying it right. I've been saying it right in my head, but I was like, I need to say it out loud.
That's all right. You said in your head more.
So you guys were at home like, oh my gosh, Mumen, like seriously, it's obvious that he wants Sydney. Oh my gosh. I mean, are you tripping? You just good with being number one. That's fine. But Kojo, did you guys ever wonder if maybe had we even seen that footage? We don't see it until you guys see it. He did not do that in front of me. He honored us both the same way. You know what I mean? And she's a beautiful woman. Sydney and I are actually mad cool. So it's not about Sydney more than this. I was judged at home because you guys were like, girl, he don't really want you. Like y'all, in every single conversation I'm having with him, you're not. You know what I mean? He's acknowledged how beautiful she is to me, which she is, but just was like, hey, I think we had our chapter. I want to move in this space now. I think this will be better for where I'm trying to go. We'll always be connected. How do you feel about that? We had those conversations. Also, I don't know what else he said in those confessionals. Neither did you guys. He might have said, body, yada, 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 yada. I can't decide. But really, I don't know. I don't know. But I know we had other conversations where some of the things he said, that was, similar to, you light my world on fire, like he was talking about with other women. He would express that to me for sure. So that, and then, we have to really just come to grips with not knowing why everybody was on the show. That's the best way I could say it. There's so many ready to. I don't know. It could be either it's not what I wanted or why was I really here? And I see you leaning in. So we're not doing tea bags like that. I'm just saying these were the moments when the cameras went off where we challenged each other and we were like, why are you really here? I had dudes try me, but fair, we just met, and literally asked me, was I on there for my career? Like to broaden my platform. Was I on here because I wanted, to sell records? Because people asked me that, I was offended. I was like, are you serious? Like I was already moving like that. But it's a fair question. Are you serious with that? There were so many guys who were like, okay, I believe that this is real, but I need to feel you like off camera. And I was like, now what you mean by feel? Like what? Hold up. But it wasn't like that. They were just saying, I want to make sure it's not for the cameras. And I used to just be like, oh, but we're not supposed to be off camera. But they were asking because same thing. If I open up to you like that, with my heart, are you real? Why are you really here? Are you serious? Are you being sincere? And I may not know that until I experience you with no cameras around.
So that's what the men were saying.
There were a few.
But what? How did they answer the question? Were they sincere?
I definitely asked back, and they claimed and said, no, that's not the case. Honestly, I wonder what that conversation sounds like. Because at one point I said this already publicly. I told Frank, like, if you want to act, tell me. I'm an actress. So if you want, like, just don't leave me out there. Like, if we're going to play a game, let's play the game together. He's like, no, it's not a game, and I'm serious, and I'm not acting, and this is what I, want to pursue.
Okay. Since we're already here, I know I'm jumping a little bit ahead of time. We'll go back in a little bit. Let me ask a question.
Okay.
At what point does Frank express that he's for Jesus? Just gonna ask that question.
All right, glasses.
Just gonna ask that question.
I have a lot to say about that, but I'm gonna just do your first one. All right. We had conversations about Jesus. We had conversations about church. We had conversations about God. He told me that he did believe in what I believed in, Jesus Christ, and that he wanted to have church be more part of his lifestyle, and that he was interested in starting to go back to church. I see you. You was trying. See, I know, because you want. I know what you want, and I got you. We may have that moment, but I got some stuff prepared because I know y'all was judging me. I know what you do.
I was judging hard.
And
I was judging hard.
But I understand, and I actually still have something to add to that.
Go for
it. Takeaway that I believe you're going to just love. So I will, I will say that. But he did express that. We had multiple conversations about that. This was not a thing where I felt like I was going to literally just have to be like, oh my God, don't you love Jesus? Like, you need to come to church with me, not literally. Yeah.
Okay. So he said he wants to.
That he has been desiring, that, like, more of that in his life. And, like, he talked about his childhood and how, it was connected to his childhood and how I want that again. Yes, those are the conversations. I want to come with you one day. Yes.
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. I genuinely believe that he said those things, right?
Yeah.
I think, I think you're almost too innocent. I think you're a little bit too innocent. I think there's a little bit too much
Meaning,
innocence
meaning.
because look, believers as we are,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
As a brother who has been a wolf before,
Okay.
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 It, either you hear or
Uh-huh.
you not hear,
There's
right?
no gray area. I got
There's
you.
no gray area, right?
I
And
got you.
due to the fact that us men especially have a tendency to lie about stuff, right? To get what we want in the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's not there already,
Right.
remember his. Do you know what's so funny? I was listening to the Art of Seduction just the other day,
Okay.
and I can't remember what the person. It was the example he was given. I think it was someone in France back in the 1800s,
Okay.
and he spoke about how this gentleman wanted to woo this lady who was a Catholic,
Yes.
and
Yes.
he started writing saying, without you, I won't be able to go deeper into my faith. Without you, I would not be able to deepen my relationship with God. Because of you,
Right.
I'm getting deeper with God. Da, 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 da.
Right.
The
Right.
trick here is, though, he's not in a relationship with God for himself. He's in a relationship because he thinks he's going to get closer due to being in a relationship with you.
For sure.
That was where I feel like, whether he was being genuine or not, you shouldn't be involved, because if that's what he wants to get close to God, let him get close to God. You don't need to be there. He needs to want it himself. So
We understand that.
I'm saying from a male perspective, that
Yeah.
looks like, to me, we call it here dark arts, and
Okay.
that means manipulation. Meaning,
Yes.
he may have been part of also manipulation is partly his acting, but partly it's true. He may have wanted
Right.
to get close to God, but realize he ain't really gonna get close to God by getting closer
Right.
to you.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. I'm with that. I'm totally okay with what you just said. I just have several things I want to say in response.
Please go for it.
Number one, do we all know that this show is not ready to get married to the person tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Ready to be married tonight?
Absolutely.
Ready to make sure that you know for sure that this is the person you need to walk out life with.
Yes.
We do know that that's not what the show is necessarily about. Okay. By the time Frank and I had our choose you moment, and I think you could tell, based off the energy, it was really more so after the cameras are done. I want to continue to see what this looks like. I want to continue to pursue this. Some people's choose you was, I'm ready to be in a relationship. That's not where we were. That's not what we said to each other. Like there was no line, on any side with that. It was, I'm ready to see what this would look like. Let's kind of, try to keep walking it out. I got what you're saying about off break. Are you a believer on your own? What is your relationship like? Not because of me, but just on your own. But there are a lot of guys in the church, pastors, who do all type of things, who also talk.
Yes.
Talk.
Yes.
And behind closed doors, that may not be the case. And that's with anybody. That's with all of us, which is why even with the Cornelius thing, I'm definitely bringing this up. Amazing guy, handsome guy. Y'all need to be together.
Yeah, what happened there?
No, not what happened there. But why? Only because of that reason that makes us compatible?
No, but it's a start. It's a start. It's not saying you have to date him. It's a start. For instance,
hey, every toxic situation I was ever in, church boys, okay? And I'm not.
That's the problem.
I'm
That's
not.
the problem. Yeah, church boys.
No, I'm not going to stop because I agree with you, and that's what my closing is going to be. What you said. But I can't go off of that, Kojo. That just because. No, what I have decided though, from Ready to Love point on, the nails in the coffin. Okay, guys. I want action figures, and that's it. The words, we can chill with the words. I don't want any more sweet talking. I don't want any more sweet nothings. I want to see it. So I'm with you. At this point, if I was seriously trying to, pursue somebody, that conversation we had, if it was I desire to, I really been wanting to, that does mean I would be tugging and pulling and constantly, because you're right. It needs to be something you want to do for yourself. The same with abstaining. People are like, well, how do you do it? How does it work? Honestly, it really only works when this is a commitment he's made for himself. Then he meets up with me, who's also made it for myself. And together, it's us wanting to honor our bodies for God and in this season. That's really the only way it's going to work. Because he's going to have a day where he's tempted. I'm gonna have a day when I'm tempted, and if both of us aren't serious about it, it's gonna be like bet. Like I've been waiting for this. Like what's up? Versus you ain't getting me. I ain't God not. And the same with me. So, like I told you, and I continue to say, this was my first time really jumping out there and dating multiple people, getting all this information at one time, and seeing what's what. So this was my, first jump out there, And so there's some things that I would do differently, for sure.
By the way, I'm not even trying to shoot you down or anything. It's only I'm just showing. I'm just saying what I was seeing in a sense of, for instance, I'm not asking you to because you made a dichotomy, right? You went straight an extreme. So you went straight from church boys, but I'm not too much. We both agree at the very beginning of the show. We both said church boys. They ain't it.
But wait. So what's church boys? You're saying like just somebody who's a Christian, just somebody who's a believer, right? That's
the foundation of a start. But it doesn't mean you have to choose them. So I agree. You're absolutely right. Cornelius doesn't have to be the one. We're asking, was there any kind of conversation at all that happened? Because from what we saw, was there was no connection there at all. Now it might have been a show. They might have been stopping you from going there, maybe. Yeah. Right? If that's the case, then you let us know, right?
Yeah.
But as far as we're concerned, there was somebody patrolling, so nobody's getting a chance.
Okay, I got you, and we'll get to that. Also, I like church boys. I wasn't saying I have a problem with church boys. I was saying
I have a problem with church girls.
Well,
we want kingdom women. We want people who are women who truly have a relationship with Jesus Christ and can be relevant.
Oh, so I know what you're talking about. So now you're talking about like religion and religious moving.
Yeah, because people say church boy, church girl means they're religious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, we were using the slang in two different ways. I was just being funny, saying like you just always at church, because I'm at church a lot. But you're speaking more to people who are religious. They could be closed-minded sometimes. They may not be balanced. Okay, I got you. Totally with you. Cornelius, simply put, first episode, walked in a mansion. We made eye contact. There was nothing there. I don't know what else to say.
Wait. Pause. Let's not go too far. Eye contact. You said eye contact. Nothing happened.
Everybody made eye contact with everybody as soon as you came in.
Listen, I'm making eye contact with you right now. Nothing's really happened, but I know you're an attractive person. So let's start there. When you saw him, was there an attraction? That's where we're going to start.
I wasn't attracted to him.
Okay, so you wasn't attracted to him when you first saw him?
No, I wasn't. He didn't do anything for me. He's a nice looking guy though. And also, I didn't experience this patrolling thing that you're talking about. So I didn't experience that. So that wouldn't have messed up my
But you saw it, right?
And I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Camille, and I'm not about to go there with you. So I mean, you already know that. You're gonna have to interview Camille. You gonna have to interview Camille.
But you've gotta give us what you saw. I mean, are you telling me you never saw nothing? How can all your classmates see it and you're friends with them and you couldn't see it? That would be wild to me. So you're telling me you didn't see no patrolling?
Okay.
Emotional patrolling, not physical.
This is what I'll tell you. That they locked in very, very early. Okay? They locked in very, very early. Earlier than everybody else. Okay? So that is what it is. And that is what I saw. She was very serious and intentional about the fact that that's what she wanted. You know what I mean? That's it. I also saw her have moments where she apologized to some of the ladies. You know what I mean? There was a public apology at one of the deliberations where she said, okay, I went a little too far. Okay. And I think another thing that sucks, and that's not her fault, is she was, appeared to be moving a certain way and, hey, this is mine and this is it. There were conversations they were having where he was saying the same thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he was physically moving like that or if he wasn't having whatever conversations with other women, because that does get tricky. But it was mutual. That's what I was told, and that's what I saw when I was around the two of them.
We'll come back to that. All right,
right. Cool. We can, because that didn't really affect me. Like it really didn't affect me.
Hey, I'm not saying it affected you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm not saying. I wanted to kind of know why it didn't go that way, because we were all like, "What happened? Why why was there not more?" But if you're saying that when you first saw him, there was no attraction, then that's dead in the pan. Listen, Christian or not Christian, I understand that it's dead in the pan. I'm not gonna say you should like him. That doesn't make sense.
I appreciate that. People took that further. Like, what you mean you ain't like him? You ain't see his body. You ain't see it. And I'm like, okay, that's your thing. Maybe you.
Yeah, no. If you don't find him attractive. What can we do about it? Yeah,
he just wasn't for me.
Wasn't doing it for you. I mean, how would you find him attractive if you call him corn? I'm just saying, you wouldn't find a man attractive.
That's what he goes behind.
Hey, that's what I said. How?
My
I'm just
God.
saying. I'm just saying. How would you find a brother attractive when he calls himself corn? I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's go back to the beginning. So, why did you go into Ready to Love?
Why did I go into Ready to Love?
Yeah.
One of my homegirls hit me and said, "This is what you need to do. You've been out here on the road, grinding it out, getting your career together. Girlfriend, ain't you ready to really, really settle down? Like, ain't you? Come on, you know what's up? Let's see what this is about." I'm like, ugh. Okay. So the first time I'm going to seriously date is going to be on national television. Okay. All right. So I said I would try it. You know, when you come out of crazy seasons, you're kind of like, what the? Come on. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Last year, you know. So like, let's try it.
Had you watched any part of the show before?
I did. I wasn't at first because I felt like it was going to give me anxiety. So I was like, I just don't want to. But then I was like, you definitely should. And I'm glad that I did. So I watched some episodes of last season.
Okay. I like that. Okay. So then you get into the mansion. Who do you first lock eyes with? Who do you think you're looking at and going, brother,
so not who I ran into first, who I locked eyes with.
Yeah, who you locked eyes with.
And that went through my body, like you just said.
Yeah. Internally, like, someone that made you sing Disney inside.
Okay, NAim is very handsome and attractive. NAim and I definitely had a conversation at the mansion. So, I mean, he's giving tall, chocolate, you know.
Yeah, he is.
His whole everything. Actually, I felt that way about Frank. And Dante, too. That was the very, very, very beginning. That was the first episode.
That's true, because we saw you holding hands underneath the table while Walter was there, but we'll get to that. Yep, I hear you. Okay, so you know,
and you already talked to the people about my body language, so I'm not messing with you. She knows how to work her body language. Okay.
Listen, I think you are a dangerous one. You know how to utilize. You know, you're smart. I know you. I see you. Listen, not wrong with that. Do your thing. All right. So obviously after that, once you obviously then you've locked eyes with people, etc., etc. Who did you really connect with on the first kind of mixer? Like, who did you actually connect with on the mixer? Who, when you first spoke to them, you actually found out, you know what, we've connected.
Okay, and the mixer, you're not going to the second episode, that brunch thing, right? Right?
No, just a mixer, literally the mixer.
The first one.
Yeah.
All right, so they kept changing the names.
Oh, is it? They changed the name? Okay.
Okay. About all those conversations that day. Okay. Frank and I had a great conversation. Carrington and I actually had a great conversation. I just thought me and Carrington was gonna be more, but whatever. Who else did I really? I'm saving Walter for the second situation. Because it didn't happen at that first one, but the second one, it was like bam, 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 bam. So I would say those two for sure.
Okay, cool. All right. So then the show goes on. We see you connect with another brother. His name was Corey. He connected with you.
Yes.
He changed. Did he change your tire? Did he change your tire? He changed your tire?
Yes, he did. He did.
Listen, I appreciate him for that. He saved you. Made sure your tire was pumped up nicely. When he changed your tire, what did you kind of mentioned it? What was the feeling that came over you when he changed your tire? Like, because it seemed like you changed your attitude towards him when he changed your tire. Listen, I might change a few tires if that's the case. You know what I'm saying?
That's what everybody was saying. They were on Twitter like, oh my gosh, all you got to do is change her tire and she'll give you her world. And I'm like, I'm an expressive person. Can't you see this at this point? Now you're interviewing me, so you see all that I'm giving you on this screen. I am just expressive. I thought it was dope, okay? You come outside from a great brunch, and out of the blue, producers are like, oh my God, your tire's flat. And I'm like, when? When did it get flat? Like, what?
Yeah, when?
What,
Need to ask the people them. What, carry on.
I'm like, okay, what happened? So while I'm on the phone, calling AAA, and make sure y'all take that part of this video. I did call AAA, because the Saints were like, sis, next time, all you need to do is I did. Okay, I have an account. I did while I was on the phone with them. in swoops in Corey. He said, "Hang up the phone. I got you." That
I
was
love
smooth.
that.
Come
I
on.
love that. No, I ain't gonna play with that. That's
I
that
was
is cool.
in need, and there were a lot of other guys around. Nobody was asking me what was going on with me, and it's not like I was like on the phone going like this. I was chilling. Corey was paying attention enough to say, "What's going on with you? I'm on the phone. Is something happening?" And he jumped in. I did appreciate that.
I love that. I don't know how to change a tire, so I'll definitely be calling 88 with you. Yeah, okay. So then obviously that then made you see him a little bit different. You thought maybe, or was there more conversation before it got to that point?
Well, no, I did appreciate that, but you guys know we don't pick our dates, at least at first.
Yeah,
right?
we know that. Introduction gets involved.
Exactly. So it was felt by people that would be a great idea, and let's give them a moment. You know what I mean? And so I actually thought I was going on a date with somebody else. So when I got there, I was like, oh, okay, Tyre guy, this is going to be great. And, so we went on the date. In the
so you went away. You didn't know you were going to have a date?
No, I didn't know I was on a date with him. I had talked about the outdoors with somebody else for a very long time at the mansion. So when they called me and said, "You're going to be outdoors," I said, "Bet, that's such and such." And it wasn't.
Okay. So then you get on the date. Listen, Corey's excited because he's thinking to himself, this is my area. This is where I'm going to, show my expertise and skills. Yeah. You end up in the woods. And I'm going to lie to you. When I started seeing the woods, I was scared. And I told Corey this. I said, I got scared. I said, I don't know why you're taking a girl we don't really know to the woods as a first date. It's a bit scary. I told him that. He knows.
Wait a second. Woo, that's hilarious. You are so funny.
It's the woods. Yeah, y'all start walking down some woodchucking up in the area.
You're right. And I'm very aware. So I was looking around, but there were a lot of people there, obviously, to make sure we got what we needed to get. But no, it wasn't like that. It wasn't, it was safe. It was
I understand. So obviously, how did the date go? Because obviously it's chopped and edited the way we see it. What was it like from your perspective, this particular date?
It was completely like what in the world is happening at times. And then other times it was like, okay, this is different. This is kind of cool. Like I said, dating for the first time, feeling like my pickings have been. So I was trying to be open to something different. I would never normally be attracted or drawn to a guy with a personality like Corey. He's so goofy. He could be silly. He could be like corny sometimes, I'm not normally attracted to men like that. No, he's very, he could be outgoing. He can all of that. That's not normally what I'm drawn to. But I wanted
what
to
are you
try
normally drawn
something
to?
different.
I just realized I've never asked you. What are you drawn to, baby? Talk to me.
Oh, I'll tell you the part I found out about in therapy after. But the healthy, what I'm drawn to. I love leaders. I love people who are passionate about, what they want to do in life. I love a guy that has vision. You know what I mean? Like we're going somewhere, like paint the picture, show me. I am normally attracted to older guys. And I think it just feels great and safe and great. I love somebody who understands the arts. You know what I mean? Even if you're not a creative, you have an understanding and a love for it. That's my entire life, I tend to be drawn to guys that have a super calmness about them. And I think it's because I'm so like, it's the phone down for me. So I think I'm drawn to like the whole opposites attract type of thing. Like, wow, you just make me want to woosah, constantly. And so I'm definitely drawn to that as well. And a guy with a sense of humor. Like we have to laugh about like everything. Like, why not? Like, that's just so fun and like great.
Thank you for sharing that. That. I've added that to my database.
Okay.
Cool. No. I just wanted to know because obviously, like I said, we didn't ask that question, so I wanted to kind of see what would be your kind of type because you kind of mentioned that he wasn't your type. So on that date, you guys are having conversations.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you my perspective and then let you I'm sure you've probably watched my videos, so you already know.
Okay.
I was uncomfortable for you. I was uncomfortable for you because even though you invited him back up to the log, I'm very much aware that in these situations where people may feel a little bit nervous or anxious, sometimes what women can do is they try to appease so the situation can run smoothly, right? So like, I don't want to embarrass you, so it doesn't go left and wayward and something crazy happens, right? That was my perspective. So even though I know that, even though you invited him back up to log, and I wasn't happy about the fact you invited him back up to the log, I also took into the fact that maybe you're trying to save him some embarrassment, and you're almost overthinking it in the sense of trying to feel what he may be feeling, which is embarrassment if you say no, etc., etc. But I want to get from your perspective what you thought, because girl, baby, we were all scared for you, baby. Okay?
Yeah. Well, once again, you are right about this. The funny part about being okay with inviting him back is, like I said, I like to have fun. I'm an actress, you know what I mean? I like to, for the picture to be painted. I like the whole, like, where we going? Tell me, let's, use our imagination. So in that moment, I thought that was like fun. Like, I was like, well, if you're going to do it, let's be committed, you know what I mean? All the way. And that's where you saw the authentic smiles and laughter, because it was just kind of like, oh man, I can be a little quirky. So maybe he's going to get, you know what I mean, that side of me, and I'm going to get that side of him, if that makes sense, Initially when it happens, I've never heard anybody say this, but I am a major person that likes to help people save face in public. And sometimes I put it before my own needs. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I was literally shocked. If you look back at the video I posted, that was a sincere, like, oh, like, okay, yes, you're my God. Like, you really, that was sincere. I was really like, whoa. And I was still processing it even after we got off. I was like, this is very strange. Like, and that was totally my personal space. That was totally you not having an awareness. What happened when you were a child type of thing, that you don't even know what's considered somebody's, So I'm with you, but it happened fast, and I think I was definitely like, I don't think I knew. I was shocked, which is what you all saw. Now, yeah.
No, go on. You were gonna say something. Go on.
No. Okay, I'll say this: the way things had gone up until that point, it wasn't a situation where I felt like I would be like, "Yo, what the heck you do?" Like, it wasn't like that. He made me feel comfortable to a degree, and something about him, and it could be like the quirky, goofy, silly, whatever. It almost felt like he was harmless, if that makes sense. And like, there wasn't really a dark, perverted reason on why he would
do that.
Straddle me, half straddle, whatever you want to call it, So all of that was going on in my head.
I'm going to ask you a random question. When's the last time you felt protected?
Oh, God. Okay. Okay, what's happening?
That's a real question.
Yeah, you totally are. I have moments. Mm-hmm. They're spotty. I don't like that they're spotty, but yeah. And at this point, I'm leaning more on like the supernatural, meaning I know God's always got me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's not going to let anything happen to me. He'll reveal whatever needs to be revealed in whatever time. And so right now, I'm more so getting that definitely from him, and that type of like covering. But I guess I've said it a few times. So it does matter to me. I do feel like, especially as women, we should have spaces where, you know what I mean, that's in place. So yeah, see, you be trying to Iyanla people a little bit.
No, because you are doing something really interesting that I'm picking up on now. You're doing a whole lot of protecting.
Say it again?
You're doing a whole lot of protecting.
Oh.
Everybody you've spoken about, you've protected them. Whether you agree with them, whether you disagree with them, you've protected them.
I also am a person that understands that there are different sides to stories. I believe in showing people grace. That's a real thing as well. That's just how I am.
I believe in showing grace too. I'm with you on that. But that comes from somewhere.
Okay.
That's why I asked you when's the last time you were protected? And your answer was what I thought it would be. Right? So you're doing a lot of protecting. And I think I said the same thing to Courtney, the exact same thing. I'm starting to notice a pattern amongst the women. Those who are very hard at protecting often are the ones who are the least protected.
Wow. That's crazy. Well, I view this more
you protecting
like...
Corey. We ain't need to protect. I slaughtered Corey. Yeah, they saw it. It was 4 hours long. I slaughtered him the whole way through. Told him, listen, this behavior is inappropriate.
Okay, well, again, I think we're all called to different things. I said that, you know what I mean? I said that in the very, very beginning. You may feel like you're called to just tell it like it is, expose people to different viewpoints, correct, hold people accountable, all those things. It's not that I don't do that, but what I lead with the majority of the time is how I'm leading like right now. I feel like there's enough judgment, hatred in the world. People always, having to say something out of their mouth sideways about people. I don't like that feeling when it happens to me, especially when I make those type of judgments and I haven't had a conversation with the person or I don't know them. And so those are the things that I keep in mind. But, we just met. But when it's time, it's aggressive. There's no gray area with me. So, I don't always like to pull that out if I don't have to.
I'm not saying that you had to, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying your natural disposition, is that you protect no matter who you're talking about. Like that's just your natural disposition. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I'm saying that I'm noticing that even when you're addressing the Corey situation, it's still protective. Because what you just described, you saying even you having to say, okay, I don't like to embarrass people. But in that moment, your boundaries were broken, which is why I said to you that I spoke to Corey and I said to him very sternly, brother, man to man, I'm with you. And I understand that I don't think you had malicious intent, but you broke somebody's boundaries in this particular aspect. So that's what I'm saying to you, that I'm seeing that. Go for it. I'm not saying that it's bad or anything. I'm just kind of noticing that.
No, I think that's a great observation. And I think you hit it. A lot of times why we move and how we process and what we do is because we didn't get it. And so, of course, a lot of these things are connected to childhood. So if you didn't feel protected or whatever the case, you grow up and become this person where you always want to do that for people. I think another thing is some people may have had those moments immediately. And sometimes for me, they come later. We have had conversations since then where it was kind of like, yo, that's just too much. You're doing too much. This is making me uncomfortable. I would like for you to stop. I would like for you to chill. And somebody like Corey, you have to be that forward, or he won't, really get it. And so I don't always do that unless that's the type of energy that's in the space. You know what I mean? And with him, that wasn't how it was in the beginning.
I get that. All right, cool. So then Corey had a situation where the brother decided to show out. He put... Again, I got at him as well, because we spoke about it for 4 hours. I said to him, what are you doing, Corey? Why did you leave notes around publicly? It made no sense to me. But obviously, you found that out. Courtney found that out. Talk us a little bit through in terms of when you found out your initial kind of feelings towards that situation.
Yeah. So I thought it was a dope gesture. You know what I mean? Like anybody would feel special if that happened to them. I just thought it was a very, I don't know what you're doing move to do that in a public space where your other love interests were also, or like interests, whatever you want to call it. That's something he could have definitely done privately, like left notes on her doorstep or, found her job, which would have been totally creepy. But what I'm saying is he could have done it another way, not in a space where we were literally all together. He chose to do that. That was semi-public, if you know what I mean. And so that was kind of like, okay, what in the world is going on? Again, because we were having conversations, and I know you've heard us use numbers because there were rankings with things. Guys would have lists. Girls would have lists. Are you my number one, my number two? I thought I was your 3. Now you're saying I'm your 6. You know what I mean? Like that was really happening. And I was having conversations with him where he was constantly telling me, you're my number one, you're my number one, you're my top pick, you're the whatever. Then I began hearing that he was telling other ladies the exact same thing. Which sucks, you know what I mean? So that still didn't necessarily do it yet. It was when I had the conversation with him. And that's when I then have to say as a person, okay. And that's normally when that other side comes out. I'm going to ask you to your face, eye to eye. I'm not going off of what anybody else says. I'm giving you the opportunity now to be honest and let's deal with this. And when he could not be completely honest with me, that's when I was like, okay, we have a problem. Which you saw a lot of that, episode. Just he would not answer the question. He was talking in circles. Yeah, exactly. Slipping stuff on me. So I don't like that at all. That's why.
He said that he accused you of going away and having information slipped to you because you came back different. What happened? Where did you go? Did you go to the spiritual realm? I've actually never heard him say that. So what? Okay, because I can't. Okay. When did he say that? That was on the show. He was like accusing you, saying that basically when you went away and you came back, your energy's changed. Suddenly your energy's different.
Went away where? At the pool party?
I don't know if it was at the pool party, but I know he just said obviously you went away and then came back, and now you're asking him these questions. So that's why he felt. He felt like production were now against him. This was all on the show.
Okay, well, I think that speaks to what you said. In the beginning, I may move a certain type of way, and you have no idea that I'm also that woman that is going to grill you if it gets there. And so maybe because I can seem so like go with the flow and chill and we having fun, whatever. When it's time for the rah, it can throw somebody off. But really, I saw everything the entire time. I was giving you time, you know what I mean, to clear that up or figure out what was going on with that. By the time we have to sit down face to face, now the heat, the block is hot at this point. And so that's all he felt. I was being assertive, I was being direct, and I was asking him questions to his face and would not let up. That's what he felt. So the Disney was not there in that moment. No, it wasn't needed.
It wasn't a magical place.
No. Get back to the real world. Come on.
You have to let it go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
That's good.
No, I definitely hear that as well. I definitely hear that. We'll move on from Corey. You had obviously some other connections. You had Frank, you had Phil. Was there anybody else you had a connection with though?
You said Phil?
Sorry, why did I say Phil? Phil's been on my mind, bro. My bad, Phil. I know he's in the chat.
Phil.
Sorry, Phil.
The funny thing is me and Phil talk all the time now. We didn't talk on the show.
My bad.
No, you know I had to stop you because they got me out here looking like a geisha, okay? So I have to make sure the list is right. They be like, oh my gosh, she just messing with everybody. I was like, first of all, it's a dating show. Is it not? One. Number two, no, it wasn't. So I have to make sure you don't add no extra days to my list.
That's
okay?
true. Listen, my bad. You're right. It was Frank that you had a connection with. Who was that? Wait, why is that person going up my head now?
Frank, Walter. And Corey.
Sorry, Frank and Walter. So, okay, I want to address this Walter situation.
Okay.
I want to address it and I want to hit it hot on the head.
Okay.
Okay. There's a couple of points here. Piano situation. I'm going to tell you what I thought about piano situation and what it looked like from our perspective.
No problem.
You're walking into a room. Sabrina, Walter are on the piano.
Right.
You walk in. You walk back out.
Right.
We see slightly in the cut 2 people behind you. Cornelius, I think it is, and I think it's Camille.
Yeah.
I don't know what gets said, or if anything gets said. Then suddenly you're storming into the piano situation. Now you're standing next to Walter, and Walter's looking visibly uncomfortable.
Right.
Because he doesn't want to interact with you in a particular moment, in a particular way, with Sabrina right next to him. Right. That's what we see. And I said, when I saw that, I said, why did Mumen do that? Like, this is his time to chill 1-to-1. Unless he called you, I don't understand why we're even going back in there.
Right.
But I want to get your perspective, and let's have a dialogue around that.
Okay. So I'm very okay with talking about this. This piano room is so hot. So we can totally address it. I'm going to paint the picture for you. Okay. And then you're going to then still respond and tell me what you think. And we're going to go back and forth. So let's go back. Let's go way back, Song Sis. The day or 2 days before we got ready for that getaway, I had a conversation with Walter, and he was just saying, how much he was really feeling me and how his feelings are really, really growing, and he wants us to really, really pursue, and I want us to really, really get serious about this. Okay, great. It's time to go to the house. That means that people are making decisions. Yeah, great. Well, you always ask me about rankings, kind of, or where you at with this person, where you at with this person. I want you to know at this point, I don't know what to do. It's even. You guys are on the same level to me. I'm stuck. I'm torn. I'm whatever. So I'm like, okay, we were really kicking it. It was no pressure from either party. And so when he told me that, I said, okay, cool. In my mind, I am feeling like his interactions with me are going to be different, especially publicly at this point. Like I said, the ranking numbers thing is a real thing. If you knew somebody was with their number one, that's their number one. They done revealed it to you. You know what's up. You there too. We each other's twos. We're not going, whatever. So I need to make it clear that that's a real thing.
I'm here.
Okay. So I had the conversation. We get ready to go on the retreat. And that morning I saw Walter, and his energy was really, really strange. Like, wasn't making eye contact with me, was acting really, really weird, was acting like he didn't want to really be around me physically, stand around me. And I was completely just thrown off because we had just had this conversation. We're getting ready to leave for the, getaway. We're eating breakfast, and he's just acting like just off. Like, I'm like, what's going on? So we had a conversation, and he starts talking to me, but the things he was saying to me were like verbatim like almost other conversations I was having with people. So it made me feel like he was now talking to me like an outsider, if that makes sense. Not like a guy that I'm dating or who I'm in some type of something with. Does that make sense? Like, not like, you know, sweetheart, I care about you. You know, let's talk about this. What's going on with this? Because I know you did. No, it was more like, yeah, I don't know what's going on with you, but people are, I don't, you know, it was very standoffish. It was very like, I don't really want to engage with you in public for some reason. I don't know what it was. While we were having that conversation, like Sabrina walked by, it was like his whole body was almost like he could not really even look like he was enjoying the conversation. That's not a good feeling. And it's confusing, especially because we just had that conversation. Okay. So we get ready to go to the house. This is how our day starts. So it's off. It's just like, it's not matching again, the conversation we just had. We get into the house, Walter and I, you know, go into the piano room. It kind of felt like we were almost like rekindling. Like, you know, we had a weird start to the day. Now we're giggling, laughing, having fun, whatever. You know, we do the little stay right. Don't go left, stay right. All you gotta do is stay right. You know, all of that. Yeah, all you gotta do is stay right. Yeah, so we were doing all of that. We'll sing more later. So we did all of that. And I walked out, and I think I went and saw Camille. Well, I don't think it was her and Cornelius at that time. I was like, Camille, yo, there's a piano room here. Me and Walter just did this whole thing. She's like, oh, I want to hear the song. Like, I'm like, yeah, I want you to hear the song. Come on. So we were coming into the piano room. I'm all happy, smiling, whatever. And I walk in and I see Walter with Sabrina. So I'm like, bet we're not gonna, you know, we're not gonna whatever. So it's like I was with Camille and Cornelius, and it was like, well, I don't think it would be. It's probably not gonna be a thing. I'm like, yeah, it's probably not gonna be a thing. This was mutual because people also think that somebody hoaxed me into, you know, doing it. That wasn't the case. We weren't going in like we about to blow it up, but it was also not like it's not gonna be an issue, right? It's probably not gonna be an issue. It's a song.
Why would it not be an issue?
I'm not finished yet because we saw this happen with other situations with more. It was two people be there and somebody else will come around who they were dealing with, and it did not get like this. Okay, so that was in my mind. Whether anybody agrees or not, there were other situations like this that happened on camera with people. So I was like, we're just singing together. I'm not going in there to sit on his lap or nothing like that. All right, that's what my mind was then. That's what I was saying. So I went in there. Sabrina was chilling. Like, what's up? Sing the song. I want to hear the song. So then it was giving musical. So I was like, you know, we're two singers in the house. You're going to play. And because of what happened in the morning, because of the conversation, but then we just had a good moment. But then you're literally looking at me like, please don't act like we're as close as we are. I was like, I'm not standing down. And that's the truth. In that moment, I was like, yeah, nah, no. Because what's up with the up? Why? Like, just talk to me. Sabrina, she said, sing the damn song, honey, sing it. So I'm like, let's sing. So I'm like, why are you doing this to me, Walter? Now, today, I probably just wouldn't have gone back in there because I should have just been able to sense that if I'm feeling all of this up and down, period, something's not right. And I probably just wouldn't have walked back in the room. Just would have left it alone. That is what happened for me. That was my experience in that moment.
Do you see how it could be uncomfortable for Walter in that situation?
Yes and no. The yes is you're dating two women. You're now saying, you know, it's intense. I don't, you know, maybe I just want to have this moment with her. I just had it with you, but I want to have this exact same moment with her too. You know, okay, cool, no problem. There were other guys I was talking to who had other love interests, and we would all be hanging out at different times. On camera, chilling. I just assumed that would be the same. I would be around Frank and Sydney, and we would all be laughing together, like her and I making jokes, him and her making jokes, him and I making jokes. The same thing with Corey. So because we all know why we're here, in my opinion, when moments like that happened and there was some type of weirdness or tension, I feel like that was somebody not being completely honest, and that made me uncomfortable. And that made me stand in it. Like, what's up? We about to deal. So that was more like a me and Walter thing, literally me and Walter thing versus girl, watch this. It was never that. which is why, from my understanding, I've never even heard her speak on it like that. Because, like I said, she was chilling. Her and I did have a conversation in the house, you know, like just woman to woman. It was giving queen to queen. It was giving posture. Okay, so what's going on? Okay, so what's going on? I told him he should talk to you. Okay, well, I told him, okay, well, maybe. Actually, she was reasoning with me, like helping. You know what I mean? Like, so it was a Walter thing. And I was just like, you could talk to me.
Because
she
talking in between two women. He's in between two women. And remember, you have to also put into, like, I would feel awkward. If you didn't come in alone.
Right,
you came in with security. I'm going to be very frank with you. I'm going to call him security. I'm going to call him security. And I'll tell you why I'm going to call him security. Because remember, information has already passed to him about situations with these people already. So you coming into a room with security and then saying, I want to have a moment where we're going to all chill. That is not an all chill. Sabrina may have reacted cool, but Sabrina's not the person that you're dealing with. You're dealing with Walter. So there should have been like, Walter, are you okay with us chilling right now? And maybe if he then was honest and said, actually, I'm okay, blah, blah. Because remember, I mean, we're quite similar. We can read the room. I don't think he wanted to read the room. I think he wanted to test him a little bit. Not because of them two. Not because of them two.
Well, actually, I didn't have to test the room. As soon as I walked in, he looked like, why? But
uncomfortable.
Right. But we'll just have to agree to disagree, Kojo, because I'm telling you, I've had other experiences with men who were stuck in the middle who did not handle me like that. So again, that's why I'm saying I just should have not walked in the room. Because if you're that uncomfortable, you are so torn out. I just want you to figure this out on your own. So I felt I didn't even feel uncomfortable because I really, really like you too. I felt uncomfortable, like I don't like to express or even acknowledge how much I like you around her. If that makes sense. Those are different. That's different. And that made me feel less than in that moment. And it was a weird feeling and I didn't like it. Again, probably just should have remembered how up and down things were, period, then, and just said, let's not do the Sound of Music ballroom situation.
Okay. The next scene, poolside. Now, I already know, so you don't have to explain it, but I already know when you said about manipulation, you weren't talking about Sabrina. We know that.
Okay, thank you for acknowledging that. Yes.
Yeah, the camera cut, so it was trying to incite that.
Right.
What we do want to know is,
okay, no problem. Let's do it.
Who were you thinking was manipulating him?
Well, I'm not going to tell you that because I promise to God, I said Sabrina's name after. You remember what I said about? Well, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Was not saying Sabrina was the one manipulating him. The cameras did decide to go on Sabrina and made for a juicy moment, but that is what happened. I never said that Sabrina was manipulating Walter. However, Walter and I had conversations about how he felt like there were people trying to manipulate him. Mm-hmm. Okay? He used those words, and those are conversations that him and I had that were not on camera.
Yes.
He started moving in the process at one point like he was literally almost like double-minded. Like and I was just like, who are you talking to? Like, what is happening?
Do you know who he was talking to?
No.
You still don't know who he was talking to?
I don't know what you mean. Well, I don't know.
Listen, people were, I won't say names either, but people were letting him know that there were situations happening on your side. So when you're going to him, Bebe, BGS, what do you think?
Oh, okay. Hold on. Because I don't know if that's even fair to bring up right now. I don't know if that's fair to bring up right now. Because I said people, no. Because that's not what he was talking about. So if you would like for me to now tell you what he said to me specifically, because we're not going to.
Oh, so he did say something.
Yes.
Tell us what he said, baby. Why are you hiding there like you know what it is?
And we can also talk about the BGS because we did have conversations about that, and that's going to explain my relationship with Frank. We could do it all.
Let's do it all.
So he told me he felt like there was people, number one, pushing him to be with me in an aggressive, you got an ulterior motive type of way. That's one. I didn't even know that. So I was like, okay. The second was, he said he would leave situations where we were together and people would come to him and say, yeah, well, as soon as you left, Mumen was all over Frank. They were just all over each other. All right. That's messy. Number one, it's a dating show again, and we're all dating multiple people. Beyond that, why are you concerned with anybody else's connection, relationship situation? And we all know that's planting negative seeds. That's not a positive thing. And if I was all over Frank, why can't I be? Ain't I dating both of them? I'm dating both of them, correct? And like you're dating Sabrina and myself. What you and Sabrina do when I'm not around is not my business, unless we're reaching a certain point and it's like, hey, this is the only thing I want to focus on. Other than that, that's something negative. Now, with all of that being said, I still feel like you're responsible for communicating, especially with the person who you do want to be in a relationship with. You're a grown man. I'm a grown woman. If you wanted to have a conversation and it was beginning to threaten our relationship or our connection, remember, because he had just told me the night before or 2 nights before that he was in it. Whoa, it's happening. The heat is going up, whatever. I wish we had more conversations. In that moment, of course, the conversation was much longer. You guys saw a lot of the spice. Mm-hmm. There's no way I'm going to tell you that was, no, they made me look like, no, I was hot. I was literally hot. Like it was hot outside. My wig was slipping. My makeup was melting. I was hot for real. And I was hot inside. It just felt like games. It just felt like games, like just not communicating. And his eye contact was off, which always is a sign that there's some shifty, shiesty business going on. So I was just like, okay, what is going on? So I did get up and walk away because I told him I had a work call, which I did. And he knows that. Enough.
Okay.
So from there, everybody like, she just walked away in the middle of the conversation. She gonna show her body. No, I mean, he did enjoy my walk away. He told me, you can see him on camera, but he knew I had to go have that call. I told him beforehand. I did walk away with spice. I did not walk away like, okay, baby, I'll see you tonight. No, I did not. We were not having a great conversation, but I had to go take that call. He has said publicly, well, I just don't think you should have walked away. We could have talked. But Walter knows that I literally time-wise, I had to go jump on a call. And we also just weren't in a great place. You know how people act like, well, we should have. You also knew we was beefing. We weren't our normal whatever. So it may take more. You understand what I'm saying? Than just a regular anything. We really needed to work through some things. We did have conversations about the Brown Girl Squad and what was happening with that, how people were being affected, and how he never really told me what he felt about it. He more so was talking like at me. And this is what I need you all to understand. This is where Frank slid in. I felt like Walter was talking at me and talking down to me. Sometimes talking to me like I was, like I couldn't even think for myself type of vibes. And again, very removed, like kind of like I don't want to touch. And there would be Frank who would literally pull me aside during moments that were like, whoa, and say, are you good? Are you okay? I see you trying to bring solutions. I see you trying to bring peace. I love that about you. I see the impact you're having in this group. I see you. And that's really what brought a level of comfort with Frank that I just didn't have with Walter. Really within that moment, it happened at the house. And so I felt like looking back, and I would love to hear your perspective as a man. If you just felt like somebody was riding with a crew that you don't feel like, you relate to or you're not okay with. Okay, I am using political terms and we can talk about it for real later, but we're more so talking about the guys right now. I get it. But I think if you really wanted somebody, again, we would have really had that talk. Like, yo, at this point, it's a threat. I'm uncomfortable. I don't know what's going on. I don't like whatever. I want you. I want to talk about this association, or I want you. What's really going on here? Or I want you. And it was almost like he had already made up his mind and he was removed, but it didn't feel like it was him. It felt like it was people telling him this ain't a good look because of whatever. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So, and we've talked since then. We have a great relationship. We both acknowledge I should have done that differently. I should have done that differently too. We've apologized to each other. We've laughed at each other. And so we've gotten through it. But in my opinion, because somebody's like, Mumen shot herself in the foot and walked away from him. No, he did it. And then people were like, they walked away from each other. I feel like we walked away from each other. I'm saying, he feels like I should have said more. I feel like he should have said more. He feels like I poked whatever. I feel like he had moments where he poked whatever. So, and just throughout that whole trip, just weird stuff. He asked me to scratch his back one day by a door. I scratched it. Sabrina was coming around the corner. He like moved his back. Like, what's happening? We shouldn't have had the conversation where you told me at this point, y'all about the same. Or just beyond that, you probably just shouldn't be dealing with me. Because, again, I never got that from Sabrina. I would get that from him. So what's happening with that dynamic? Or with whoever else you're talking to or whatever. And so that doesn't feel good. Way before we get who like who and who whatever. That right there, even on the friend level, does not feel good. So He wasn't checking on me in the house. He didn't know where my room was. He didn't know if I got in okay. Did my luggage get up the steps? I mean,
So I think I take what you're saying, and I know. Listen, if a man wants you, a man wants you. So there will be conversation that will be had, right? So there is a part of which I'll say to Walter when I interview him as well. He was not fully convinced. This is why he moved the way he moved. It's just that simple. There's another aspect,
okay.
Which is if you're hearing and it's been said in the lives. So I'm only saying whatever has been said on my lives.
Okay.
Right. If you're hearing things like your crew that are around you, BGS, are collating together to make someone be in the bottom. We need to get him out. And you're hearing that. I can't trust you, Mamin. Because if you don't come and tell me that information, you're now one of them. Your silence is a commitment to that group. You're not trustworthy. Okay. That's how you're gonna see. You're now gonna see it as you're gonna see that person now as an enemy, because if you're hearing stuff like that coming from the shadows, I'm not about to come and ask you.
Right.
Because you should come and tell me. Because if you truly say you're loyal to me.
Are you saying Walter? Is that the example you're using that I should
I'm using that's what people are hearing. So if people are hearing that kind of information that
I'm asking you specifically because I'm sure Frank heard stuff too, and Frank never felt like that was me or that he had
but we never heard anything about Frank being put in the bottom because the group were
okay, so that's what I'm asking. You're asking no, I'm not being funny. I'm trying to get clarity on what you're asking exactly. You're now saying
no, I'm not asking anything. I'm saying directly that if you're wondering why he may have moved in the other aspects of him, why he's moving the way he's moving, it's because if you hear stuff, right? If you hear stuff about a group of people plotting your downfall, and you're a part of that group, but you might not have said nothing, right? But you're a part of that group, and you never come and tell me. Imagine, let me put it in another perspective. Imagine
I think I understand what you're saying. I wanted to know who you were talking about, but you're doing a journal statement. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if you're hearing that, you've now become the enemy. I can't trust anything you're saying. I understand. Because you should come to me and tell me, if you're saying that you're loyal to me, hey, listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. Stay right. They're moving a bit mad. Hey, listen, I gotta tell you this what's happening, right?
Right.
But he ain't. If he's not hearing that from you, he cannot put his full trust into you. Right? Gotcha. I'm not saying that's the total why he moved the way he did, because if he was convinced, he would have had a conversation with you. But I'm saying now that also part of that aspect is from those moments onwards, whatever's being said to him, whatever's coming through, he now can't trust you. You're no longer a trustworthy person because you haven't come to tell him anything that happened from that group. And best believe this has been confirmed by not one, two, a few castmates on lives coming to tell us there's been collusion behind the scenes. Okay. So whether you agree with them or not, the crew, you are now part of that crew.
I totally understand.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand. And this is going to be a lot of pulling apart that we're going to have to do, because it's not a one-word answer. It's not going to be anything quick, like at all. So let me just deal with Walter again. Totally understand what you're saying. The thing about trust is there's a large part of communication that's connected with trust. Okay. If you started to feel like you could not trust me, that should have been said to me. Number one. Number two, Walter was moving in a way at times that made him seem like he could not be trusted as well. Walter was getting caught up in things, and I was seeing conversations where people were calling him out and holding him accountable, and he was coming up short. There was a time where we said to each other, we both felt like we were then battling with trust in each other. And it was so early on, we weren't even in a relationship. And so it just felt like we were both coming to each other with a bunch of stuff already being said, a bunch of things already in our head. Let me say that. He had conversations with, I'm going to just say the names, with Zadia, where there were things like, well, you said this. No, you didn't. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. And then I started being like, was Walter lying? Maybe Walter's lying. You know what I mean? I would have conversations with him, and it would be like, I want to talk to you over by the trash can, but please don't tell anybody that we're talking about a trash can. Because you don't want to be seen with me at the trash can, or because what is it exactly? And he wouldn't really say. I would tell him I'm going to take my trash out. Are you really going to take your trash out? No, and I'm being serious. It was stuff that had nothing to do with camera. I was like, yes. And he would express to me and share with me that he's been in situations where women were not honest and they were with other dudes. That's your stuff that you're bringing now into this space. And I've not shown you any signs of that like that. You know what I mean? But that was his stuff that I was then beginning to battle with. I don't think it helped that I was around people that he was hearing so many things about. I don't think it helped that I was around people who he was not necessarily fond of, and vice versa. Heck no, that didn't help. So that made it worse. So we were constantly coming to each other with a bunch of other people too, if that makes sense.
I get you. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. Because we've only got a few minutes left. So
Okay.
very quickly, I'm gonna have to ask you. On the show, I know you've already answered this on Maria's live, so I don't need to go through how BGS was formed. We don't need to do that again. What we do want to ask the question though is, we don't get to ever. No, there's one question first and foremost. I heard, and this is from on a live. This was on my live. Did you get shouted at by Zadia, you and Shiloh, about not voting the way you're supposed to vote? I mean, you can plead the fifth if you need to.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to plead the fifth, or it may sound like the fifth. I don't even really care what it sounds like. I do not know I have no idea what that person is talking about, or that story. I have no idea. Now. So it never happened.
I just want to clear that up. It never happened. You never got shouted at by Zadia for voting.
Right. No, I have no recollection of that. I have no recollection of that.
Okay, for you.
Well, more so about the person who I heard it was about. This is what I will say. And I really don't care what anybody says. There were moments, especially towards the end, when it was really like Gangs of New York. And I mean that. Where it was almost like, these people are against me. These people are against me. We need to stand as a united front because they're standing as a united front. How are we going to move? And there were some things that were said and the way things were being tallied up that just really didn't make sense, where it was making it very clear that that's exactly what was going on. So there were conversations, and now I'm about to sound totally political. I'm not giving you names, Kojo, so you'll just have to fill in the blanks however you choose to. There were moments when there were conversations with people, and it was almost like, you said this behind the scenes, it needs to be said public now. You feel a way about such and such, you need to say it now. That type of weird energy or whatever happened at times, especially towards the end. And it was, not only was it uncomfortable, it was like, I can't believe it's come to that. Like, this is really supposed to be a dating show about you and a person. And now it's turning into alliances. And if you say this, it means this. And if you don't say this, it means this. And are you for me? And if you're for me, this is what for me looks like. And I heard that all over across the board. That's what I'll say.
I mean, I would expect you to come out in public and defend me. If you know, if a whole group is colluding against me and you're part of the group, Mamin, like, I'll say this, right? You are friends of everybody, but you're also enemies of everybody. I said this to a friend. I said, you can't be friends of everybody.
Right. I never said I was friends with everybody.
So I understand friends, that. But you're cool with everybody.
I understand that quote. And I'm cooler with certain people.
Yeah.
Do I get along with people? Am I enemies with anybody? Literally, like, do I hate anybody? No. Am I closer to certain people? Yes. Do I click with more people more than others? Yes. Are there some belief systems that I'm not okay with? Oh, yes. So that is the case. But I know exactly the quote that you're talking about, and I don't move like that. So I have to address that. I'm not, those type of people can sometimes be snakes as well. I'm not saying you're a snake. I'm
saying it becomes hard for everybody else to put their trust in you.
But that's crap a little bit, because there was so much stuff that happened in this process regarding other people. And if they were judged based off that one thing, we would all just be like, ugh, that's true. Those are the things you guys will never see. Those are the things you guys don't know.
We won't see them, but the most important things that were happening have been set. For instance, if someone kicks somebody, if somebody wants to fight somebody, if somebody wants to put their hand in somebody's face, I don't need to mention their name, you already know, put their hand in somebody's face. If people are being mean to people, okay, and then you hang around with that group, all right? Now, how am I supposed to trust your character? Because as we both as Christians here, bad company corrupts good morale. How am I supposed to trust your character as being a genuine good person, which I think you are? And we all could see that, listen, Mummy is different from them. But the fact that you're still hanging around with them, we were concerned. Like, if you're still hanging around with them, then maybe there's something that you guys are clicking with, right? So if you don't come out in public and say something, or at least on the show, you don't come out and say something, we're looking at you now like you are defending them. So there is no, I'm doing it behind the scenes, because now we're looking at you like, we can't trust you.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I understand. Yeah, and I think that that's fair. I think for me, I'm a person who has been in the limelight and had a certain level of platform since I was like 15, 16 years old. Meaning the masses, especially the group and the community and the industry I was around, knew me. if that makes sense. I didn't have to do a whole lot of proving or you're confused about this because no. So this was new for me actually to have to consider that, if that makes sense, because there were people who were like, it's obvious she's not like them. There were people who were like, look at her platform and whatever like them even means, because you gotta know I have different experiences with Camille and Zadia. I have the other people will never know about. I am not okay with some of the things that happened on the show, some of the things that were said. I don't condone that type of behavior. I do not. And not only have I said it in private, I also too have now at this point said it in public. Okay. And you can ask other people if you would like to, prove it. And so that's the case. Also too, I feel like your life is your biggest example, your biggest poster. And again, the more some of these people have gotten to know me, because, some relationships have been able to develop in a greater way outside of those that were on the show. Literally, it's like, oh, dang, okay, I didn't know. Cool, because I don't judge off break, which I could regarding several things on this show. I never really struggled with that with people. I wanted to get to know them because of who they were. Okay. This process was very treacherous at times. Okay. You did not know who to trust. There were people who were just not caught on camera sometimes. There were things said that would have made all of us look sideways. All of us look crazy. And crazy, of course, there's different levels of crazy, and I'm not making up for some of the super crazy things that were caught on camera. What I'm saying is, if you were only shown this particular thing for this person over and over and over again, and that's still not all of them, period, on both sides, maybe you would be like, oh, okay. They said I giggled at everything. They're like, I guess she takes nothing seriously. And I was like, that's dumb to think that, just to go off of that and think that. But then I said, I get it. So to echo what you said, I completely understand how people could walk away and think that. And at this point, I'm here now. I can't go backwards. I can't stop a whole scene and say, no, I want you all to know that she was. I can't do that. I do understand why people feel like I should have and how that could have made more of an impact as far as where I stand. But same time, too, there were a lot of people who were like, we got somebody doing something and somebody not doing something. Okay, so, but I get it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I don't know why, y'all, that's not right. I get it. This is a real thing. This is a real thing. I got you. I got you.
Hey, listen. I didn't want it to be an interrogation or anything. I just wanted to
I feel a little interrogatory.
Yeah.
But I kind of felt like you were probably going to want to address this, and that's fine. And I hope people hear me. I hope people hear my heart. Everybody's grown. I'm not going to make it ever seem like I have to be accountable for somebody else's actions, because I'm not going to do that. I'm just not. Again, that process was tight, fast. We were tired, delirious, hungry at times, not always thinking clearly. I'm gonna be honest, myself. There were moments I completely lost my cool. I was unraveling several times, and I was just like, whoa, let me catch myself. And so maybe I did cling to certain people more. You want to be somewhere where you feel safe, because over here you're not sure what's going on exactly. So there were bonds created basically just off the fact that you don't want who I want, so we really may not have to really be caught up in no type of lies, because we don't even have to play that type of game. So that did happen. And then there's certain relationships we're much closer than we were on the show, because the block was just too hot. You wanted him, I wanted him, and it got a little sticky, but I hear you. I hear all of you who are just like, but still we needed to know, and I got you. I hope I've made that clear where I stand and where I'm at. But I do understand. And again, there are certain things we did not see until you all saw it. There were moments I sat at home and said, God, dog, that happened. You should have told me, that's real.
Okay. No, I hear you. Listen, I'm a part the bus there. You get me? I'm gonna ask one final question for you, not in regards to the show, but what was a key learn you learned? What's the key learn you learned? What's the key learn you got from the show?
Like a lesson?
Yeah, that you're taking away from being in the process.
That my initial feeling about a person or where they're at is like spot on. And I used to view that like I was judging, because I wasn't giving the person a chance to really, like show me what's really going on or explain why they're moving. And I just realized now it's actually not that deep. Also, to me, being able to identify that you got some stuff you need to work on, or you have a lot of dysfunctional areas in your life where you're straight up toxic, man, woman, boy, or girl, doesn't mean that I'm saying you're a bad person. It just means that you may not be safe for me and that your level of access is going to be limited. But I doubted myself quite a bit on this process. There are a lot of things that happen with people, again, men and women, where when it was all said and done, I said, I saw this the first day. Okay, I saw this the first day, So, yeah.
I appreciate that. Is there anything that we can support, get behind, put our energy behind? Is there anything that you're doing right now that you would love our support from?
Yes. Well, I have new music coming out soon in the spring. So you guys stay tuned for that. My first solo record. I plan on doing a few more events in the community, especially under my nonprofit, but music and some stuff in the community for sure. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you so much. I know I gave you a little hard time.
You did, but do you have more understanding? Because you're really not saying that much anymore. So I'm like, oh my gosh.
We're going to talk after. That's what's going to happen.
Okay. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I'm totally cool with that.
But we're good. We're good. I mean, you cleared up some things, but with some things we'll talk about after. You know what I mean? Some things are for after that. You know what I mean? So listen, audience, it's been a pleasure. You lot came out strong. 2,500 of you lot. New records are being set every day. We appreciate you guys. Listen, I know. We'll be here tomorrow again. We'll be here with Walter as well after. And we'll have Dante as well on Sunday and Frank on Sunday. So listen, it's going to be a packed weekend full of stuff. And we're going to have the all-star cast panel as well for the reunion on the Sunday. Until then, guys, please don't do anything I wouldn't do, which is